Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from JKS, checking in on the solar sector. Whoops. Eager beaver. Okay, so yesterday we consolidated looking for a daily higher low over 73.09. Tested the 12 EMA, front ran the pivot a bit for the month. Saw some bounce, but then today we saw a red inside bar day. So no bounce follow through. Bears are not yet scouting that daily lower high. So this play obviously did not come into fruition. But we're looking for that potential to be there in the future. So what are we looking out for? We got to zoom into the hourly trend. Check it out. Ooh, that is no bueno. So let's see. Did the Bears get a trend change though? Technically the Bears did not change the hourly trend. Even with extended hours off, what we had was a bear break with no follow through, and then it's the same candle as a high and a low, so I don't really love it as that. Let's see. Nah. Well, let's see. Let's just mark it up. Boop, 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 and then one move down. So not really. You had a bear. I guess you had a trend change here into a higher high, and then now lower low. So I guess you could say it's bearish. But to have confidence, we will be waiting for that lower high under the potential of a lower high under 83.09, and then break to lower lows under 80.61 to be confident that the daily higher low has yet to be set. Right, and so if we break to lower lows under 79.67, then we'll continue to look for that daily higher low. Anything over 73.09 being one. Trades for tomorrow, that hourly lower high is definitely on deck. Bears will be top fishing, looking for that hourly lower high. Ideally in 5-minute overbought conditions, which would be rather far up from here, but that'll change on the price action tomorrow. So just move this zone of interest around, depending on where that little squiggly line goes. And to everybody who is messaging me about getting the one fills, everybody who's talking about these one fills, I'll say it over and over again, no problem. The logic is this, right? If you get one fill and it's a really good fill, yes, you don't get to your full size, but it's much easier to manage, right? When you pluck a bottom, it's a lot easier to manage. You cut off half right away. You can put your stop over the high or the low, and then just walk away from that trade. So if you do that many times, then you'll have many different lines out. One of them can mature, right? Some of them can moon, maybe, right? And so that's really what you want to. That's really the best way, in my opinion, to. That's the way that I prefer to position. It's the most stress-free way that I have discovered. And another point too is that you can do it however you want. you can go bigger if you want, but just realize that part of the reason why I have the scale set up like this is because things can get more extreme than you'd imagine. Now, yes, in recent history, a lot of these plays have been shaking out as soon as the key time frame becomes oversold, but you can see today that didn't happen, right? So we got this 5-minute oversold today. Oh, actually, that's the play that was set up. Whoops. Okay, so if you played it in PM, we did get 5-minute. Well, not really. If you played it in PM, that was a good trade, whatever. But if you played it during the regular trading hours, would you have begun scaling here? Actually, you would have, right? So this is actually a perfect example of that, where RSI got more extreme than anticipated, right? So I got two fills here. So we started scaling at 30, and then our second scale came in when RSI was 20. And so if price just continued to dump down, then RSI would get buried into the teens, and that's where we want our third fill. And then, typically that's where you would start seeing some bounce where something is very wrong, and then you stop out, take your loss. So if you were in this trade, let's see, it did offer you a little bit of potential to take some off, right? This little bounce, this relief bounce, and this is a bit of a red flag, right? To see this strong hourly bounce, to see that strong hourly bounce and then just fade down without any bounce at all is kind of a red flag. So if you were playing this bounce and you find yourself in that situation in the future, I guess, if you find yourself in a situation where the move is just not getting going, just a little quick, weak, dead cat bounce and then straight shot down again, if you get this opportunity to take some off, you should do it. Okay, the market is giving you an opportunity to protect your position. So from the middle of these two fills, if you got it, It was just 0.5%, right? This is not a lot of room to work with. So red flags. Like you just want to be a bit cautious when this is the price action you see after a big bounce. Okay, so the good thing about this trade is very low risk, right? 1% on it, so whatever. And if your trade's not working for you by the end of the day, you'll usually want to de-risk, take some of it off, okay? And if you're swing trading, the range is probably larger, so it doesn't really apply. Anyway, trades we're looking out for tomorrow would just be that hourly lower high. That's it. That's it. And if you're looking long, then we can be bottom fishing. We'll be looking for an hourly pivot here. So again, we'll want 5-minute oversold conditions, and ideally we'll have more than that, but we'll see. So the new levels would be something like that for a potential long. And remember, adjusting for the 5-minute oversold conditions. I'm gonna get like a recorder to play that for me. Okay, so something like that. 410. Okie dokie, JKS also an inside bar today. We did not get this daily lower high play because the bulls could not see any follow through. So let's check it out. We are not yet confident in this hourly higher low here of 59.61 being set over this one of 56.51 because the bulls did not see any follow through. Zooming into the hourly chart. Okay, obviously we didn't get even close to this zone, but we can still keep this trade live. Very similar trade still. Okay, same idea, trend line, channel, pivot, hourly overbought for this potential short, looking for a daily lower high. If the bulls can show up, change this hourly trend by holding this low here of 61.19 and breaking to a higher high over 63.47. And then ideally, of course, also breaking over these levels of 65 to have the bears scouting that daily lower high. Anything under 76.64 will be one. And remember, we're just watching for this pennant that continues to tighten up. There are trades down here setting up too, right? If we come down into this zone over here and get hourly extended again, I would be fine with initiate. I believe we missed that trade, or I don't remember. Let's see. Like that. Something like that. All right. Run. So run, we're just watching this range, also in a tightening range, kind of similar to JKS, but there's much more range on the run EQ than there is on JKS. Well, actually, let me see. They're about equal, actually. Yep, they're about equal. Okay, so interesting, relatively weaker. We just saw 2 inside bars on Dan and JKS, but run is relatively weaker, broke to a new low under yesterday's low of day. So we are not yet, well, obviously we're not confident that that was the daily higher low. It's definitely not the daily higher low now. So bulls are still scouting for a daily higher low. Anything over 52.36 will be one. Looks like we just missed our zone of interest today. Oh, I guess you could have played it. If you had adjusted the levels based on the hourly oversold, then you would have initiated right there. Your average would have looked something like that. You had a little bit of bounce to maybe take some off, protect your position, but this is not a very good looking bounce, right? So I would not be surprised if we saw lower. So sometimes missing that trade is actually a blessing in disguise. If we were to try lower, maybe something like that, bottom fishing, looking for that daily higher low over 52.36, and bears are just scouting that same play, but with some adjusted levels like so. So we'll zoom out to the daily, make sure it looks reasonable. Yeah, not a bad place to be looking for a potential higher low. Not a bad place to be looking for a daily lower high. I mean, essentially be a double top up here. This is probably going to move, but we'll see. Remember, the zones, again, RSI, that's the guide. Or what your momentum indicator of choice. Okay, interesting. Let's see here now. So FSLR, that was from yesterday, I believe, right? Nope, that was today's. Okay, cool. So because we were looking for this hourly pivot, wait, getting ahead of myself here. So let's see, FSLR on the daily time frame, they broke over the previous day's high, and so the bears were looking for a daily lower high, and there's the potential of it being set very quickly. So Let's see, we got to zoom into the hourly time frame here to see how it played out. And so the bulls got an hourly trend change straight into a dump, not exactly a good look. And this is a large enough move that the bears will be scouting an hourly lower high on any bounce. And if you play this guy, ideally you're gonna at least take some off in after hours now. Let's see if that was an appropriate scale. I don't think let's see. Yeah, it was fine. So the only thing with this one is timing, right? If this happens at the end of the day, you know, then you have to play the after hours to manage your position, and I don't love that. So these setups, if they happen at the end of the day, you know, be a bit more apprehensive, maybe size down, something, whatever. All right, so just manage your risk appropriately. Kind of hard to say for, you know, different traders, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, we still have the potential to make a hold here, right? The daily is holding the 12 VMA as of now. We're struggling to get over the pivot, and we have this channel support that can offer some, well, potential support. So tomorrow, bears will be scouting that hourly lower high. Well, let's keep that one there. We should move it to be like that. Okay, and then for the more short-term hourly lower high, we'll just be top fishing. Looking for something like that. Make sure the 5 minutes overbought. Yep, right around there. Zoom back out onto the higher time frame. Make sure it looks appropriate or plausible. I think that looks fine. Okay, so top fishing these resistance levels. There's bottom put in there. Top, bottom, hold. Yeah, something like that. And this trade, we're just looking for a lower high. So if you're in this trade, maybe you can hit the reverse button over here. Alrighty, plug. Okay, plug. Let's see. Kill some of this stuff. Very busy. Don't need that. All right, so plug, we're watching this channel. I believe it's best seen on an hourly channel. A daily downtrend is continuing, but so far bulls have showed up to play defense on this the base there. All right, so hourly. All right, so obviously neither of these plays shook out, but that's okay. You can't get them all. I believe yesterday was a pretty good haul. So let's see, plays here, hourly oversold into the channel support. That's pretty much all I like. There's also, I know there's also hourly levels marked off here, so you can see all this chop zone, right? So if I just mark off here and here, you can kind of see that there are some meaningful pivots, right? Okay, so hourly oversold into the channel support and the previous price zone chop, whatnot, congestion. Not a bad look for potential longs. And then if you're looking short, then this play is still on deck. You'll want 5 minute overbought, looking for an hourly pivot on this channel into all of this chop, right? You see all these bottoms got put in here. Bottom, 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 top, right? So something like that. Oh no, not like that. Something like that. And it might not get there tomorrow. And you know, while we're EQing like this, I don't really love playing it within the EQ. You can be bottom fishing and top fishing the EQ range if you have a particular bias too. So let's see. You know, technically the daily trend is bearish, right? So I guess if you were to have a bias, it should be bearish, but I don't know. I wouldn't get overly bearish here. I wouldn't get cute in the EQ, honestly. This is not a lot of range, right? Dan is always saying the opportunity is volume and volatility, right? So this is very low volatility as we're range bound, and so opportunity is minimal. I'd rather play the response to the breaks. Okay, like a news prime trade kind of. Shorting a news pump or something like that. You respond to the break. All right, I think that about covers it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.